Okay, breaking news. Another plane crash apparently in Philadelphia. We're going to look at this. I just kind of wrapped up live, talking about how essentially the news media, the universities are terrorist organizations. So, well worth the watch there. This is wild. So, we're going to go through and get the lowdown here. It's just breaking just now. So here is dash cam footage. It doesn't look like a plane to me, but I guess it is been confirmed it's a plane crash. Interesting. That is crazy. So we know what's going on all over the place. We have the deep state, whatever you want to call them, the woke, the left, the globalist, Marxist lunatics are not just going to lay down and they're just going to try their damnedest to create chaos as much as possible. The scam that they are. Here's Trump, just been informed that we are bringing 6 hostages home from Venezuela. Thank you. Okay. And my entire staff, great job. Rick Grinnell. Okay. Just been informed that we are, 6 hostages. Okay. So at least 6 fatalities. Shout out to Benny Johnson. At least 6 fatalities confirmed in Philadelphia plane crash, comprising of 2 pilots, 2 doctors, 1 patient, and 1 family member. This is the aftermath.
Patient. Were they landing or taking off? Taking off.
There's a lot of footage here we'll go through. And
they locked the doors too.
There's literally 50 other things as well. It's just insane what's going on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Alex Jones. We're going to watch a couple things here. Okay. Here is I'll come back to some of these. Here is the ring. Yeah, that's the plane. That is definitely a plane. Yeah, we could see it there. There was some angles that we saw. So what is going on? So we also covered the other on the last stream that the helicopter and the plane crash in Washington, D.C. was 100% not an accident. Unequivocally was definitely not an accident. Here's Charlie Kirk. Now, what happened with the plane and the helicopter, I think most likely is that somebody hijacked. They can essentially autopilot these things, and somebody can hijack the controls and autopilot things. It's not the first time it happened, also, by the way. So it happened over a week ago as well, but it just didn't crash. It dodged it, the plane or something somehow, but it was a super close call. Happened over a week ago with another plane and helicopter collision. So it was definitely not an accident. Was probably someone who hijacked the controls of the helicopter.
On Cobbin Avenue. Is they okay?
Back. I don't know how long I was out. I don't know what happened.
Oh my God, this shit up. Yo.
I hope you guys
Yo.
hope you guys can hear me. I don't know how long I was out there. Is someone hijacking our internet as well? I was talking about how the plane and helicopter crash that happened the other day in Washington, D.C. was definitely not an accident. Most likely someone got control. Like these things can autopilot. Someone probably got control of the helicopter and purposely crashed it into the plane is very much probably what happened. Or else it was like a terrorist who did that on purpose. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me. It says my internet connection is bad. So this is here we go. Let's show this here.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
There's one of it. So this whole little bit here is all about how the left is constantly calling for the assassination attempts on Trump unequivocally.
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. I'd like to punch him in the face.
I'll meet him in a hotel room any motherfucking day of the week and give him a Louisville Slugger. Kiss my motherfucking ass, you bitch punk sucker.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
If that's not inciting violence, I don't know what else is.
Cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You see, the news media is a terrorist organization. The mainstream news.
They go low, we kick.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
It's an actor dressed to look just like President Donald Trump as he's assassinated on stage. Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Yep.
We are watching a rally right now. Former President Trump was just in the middle of a speech when what sounded like possible shots were fired. We saw the former president, take cover.
Breaking news, former President Donald Trump is safe and a 20-year-old shooter is dead after a shocking assassination attempt on the former president in Pennsylvania.
We begin tonight with the breaking news and the second assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
He is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Let me give you one bottom line. As a former government official, government's going to kill this guy.
He needs to be shot. Stop.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Yep. Okay. And it's not just about the Democrats. That's a shroud. Okay. This is about the deep state, Marxist, globalist, corrupt people versus the freedom fighters. Okay. Okay. Here's another shot here. Huh. Yeah, in this shot, it did not look like a plane. But we had that other clear shot. It's clearly a plane. This is insane. Yep. I think we saw this one, right? So the agenda, the Communist Manifesto, the globalists, they want to destabilize, divide, conquer, create issues, create havoc, create things such as race wars, things like that. Okay. And so they've lost the battle here. They're getting exposed for what they are. And so they don't have a whole lot of cards left to play. They can try and start World War III. They can try and create chaos. They can try and release another actual pandemic. You know, things like that. Because as we know, COVID was man-made and released by us. There's a video I could show you that I just watched, I think, on that. Okay. So Alex Jones saying President Trump declared war on Mexico, not on the people of Mexico, but on the cartels of Mexico. So it's actually to protect both Mexico and the states. I don't know. Okay.
Dealing with what are designated to be foreign, but let me be clear, all options will be on the table. If we're dealing with what are designated to be foreign terrorist organizations who are specifically targeting Americans on our border, and we're finally securing our border.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump just declared unofficial war against Mexico. Now, I want to be very clear, not against the Mexican people, but against the drug cartels that have run that country for more than 40 years, flooding our nation with fentanyl, killing over 140,000 people a year in the last 5 years. That's over.
Which that's not a talking point either. The fentanyl is real, is for real. And the deeper you go down that and look into it, it's like hot damn. A lot of people have died from the fentanyl.
500,000 people dead conservatively. By designating the cartels as a foreign terrorist organization, the U.S. military can strike. We'll show you Hegseth's announcement in a moment. And by signing those orders, he has declared the groups that rule Mexico as the U.S. enemy and as a foreign enemy to be attacked. And that is who rules and controls Mexico. This is all part of Trump, totally. This goes on. I mean, this is Trump is going for. He's caught money laundering for a long time. The cartels. He's in all.
That's the weird.
That this is dangerous.
I might have to.
Right there. He can't.
Okay. Yep, I know. That's what I was thinking. Full of dollars. Some weird stuff's been going on. It's gonna get crazy. Buckle up. But there's hope now. Like there wasn't hope. There was hope. I don't know. I'm hoping people's eyes are getting opened. I talked about this earlier, that this is how far gone we've been. Yeah, let's go. There you go. I don't know if you guys know how far gone we were when the woke, if you want to call it that, the DEI got so crazy that we were hiring people. We were firing people on a difficult, well-qualified job and hiring people with serious, severe psychological issues to man our airports. Like, okay. Yeah, I think we saw that one. Like I hope it's an eye opener for the world. Just think about this for a second. Europe is now saying they will arrest people for just watching extremist right-wing propaganda. They've already been arresting and fistful of dollars. How is it? Are we still here? Including arresting people who tweeted about their daughter being gang raped from illegals, Muslims, arrested for tweeting about that, arresting victims of rape. For bringing it to light. So are we waking up yet? People. It's crazy. Okay. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Weekly wrap up. Okay. First priority is arresting the worst offenders. These criminal aliens were in our neighborhoods. And so what's happening also now in Chicago, they are releasing criminal, illegal aliens from jail and changing their name so they can evade ICE. That is how the lunacy. I hope this people are opening their eyes. This came from our universities that are breeding radical cult members. They're radical cult members of leftist ideology. And it comes from the media who cover up the truth and just lie nonstop. Everything that they've gone so far now that it's not even like a half truth anymore. It's just 100% lie after lie after lie after lie. And so it's okay to call for the assassination of Trump, which has been happening like crazy all over the place. In their mind, it's pragmatic. We have to get this guy killed. It's a pragmatic thing. You know, at all costs, we need to infiltrate and kill him. And they think they're justified. They still imagine themselves as the empathetic, sympathetic, kind-hearted, good people. That it's called being hoodwinked. That's what's going on. It's been going on right under our nose. We've let this Marxist, communist ideology, socialist ideology infiltrate our schools, infiltrate the news, infiltrate our government with all kinds of, and they'll go to no ends. There's no stopping. I mean, as far as literally saying, let's defund the police. And then this is years ago. Then you ask, okay, so you actually just don't want police at all? And they're like, yeah, no police. So you're just okay with terror on the streets, billions of dollars being damaged, creating ghettos everywhere, creating death and hell. Yeah. I mean, America is evil in their mind. We talked about this on the last show. Okay. Today, the Trump administration, but it's just, that's why my mind is blown. It's like Twilight Zone. How on earth is this even happening? That Trump is actually fighting back and doing all the right things and getting all the right people into place. It's amazing. It's literally, he's saving the world as we know it, because it was hopeless. Germany, Europe, Romania, Germany's just coming out flat out and just saying, we'll just not We'll just do away with elections altogether. How about that? Anyone who disagrees with us, we'll label them terrorists, extremists, censor speech, which is evil. Censoring speech is evil. Okay. Evil. But they do this. Those that control the information hold all the power. That's how this works. So they control the media, they brainwash people, and they create sheeps being led to the slaughter, moth to a flame. And they actually think they're the good guys. They think they're the empathetic, sympathetic ones. All the way to the point of let's let incapable people manage our airports. Let's just do away with elections. Let's just put a dictator in. Let's do away with the Fourth Amendment. Amen. Let's do that. We're the compassionate ones in their mind. So the purpose of that is to create chaos.
Fox! Can I get...
Yeah, just go the long way, boys. Go the long way.
All right, brother. All right.
Just stay on the other side of this tape line right here,
I will.
okay? I appreciate it.
A plane has crashed right off the boulevard at Cottman Avenue. It's on fire. It's not under control. It looks like a side street. All police and fire. It looks like debris here. I'm in a debris field. They're roping off the parking lot. There is thick smoke and the smell of jet fuel. I'm working. I'm sorry. With Fox. I need to get my... I should have worn a jacket. Sorry, brother.
Just go down around that
I will. There's pieces of the plane here.
Yeah.
We're near Northeast Philly Airport. There are lines of police and fire as far as I can see. Black smoke filling the sky over the shopping plaza. It looks like it's on a side street affected. We're right across from a busy shopping center. So the plane, pieces of the plane are in the Roosevelt Mall parking lot. It looks like, according to police, that's why they're roping that off. This is as close. There's black smoke. Sorry, I'm breathing bad. Flames of black smoke coming over.
Crazy. Okay. So Benny just said new audio released shows air traffic control trying to reach the Learjet 55 before the Philadelphia crash. We have a lost aircraft. All right.
Turn right heading 2900. Medevac med service 056 on departure. Turn right heading 290. Runway 24 clear for takeoff. Wind 25010. Medevac med service 056 affirmative. On departure. Turn right heading 290. Runway 24 clear for takeoff. Medevac med service 056 contact Philly departure 123.8.
123.8, Mike Tango Sierra 056 Medevac. Thank you. Good day.
Medevac med service 056 Northeast Tower. Contact Philly 123.8. Medevac med service Northeast Tower. Medevac med service 056 Northeast Tower. You on frequency?
Medevac Mike Tango Sierra 056 Northeast Tower. How do you hear this transmission?
Medevac med service 056 Northeast Tower. Thirty-six 0908 Foxtrot Northeast Ground, Roger. Stand by one. I'll get back to you when I can. First to runway 24, what's going on down there? Position 755. We have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened, so we're trying to figure it out. For now, the field is going to be closed, so no inbounds or outbounds probably. All right, understand. Thank you. 60908 Foxtrot. I'm sure you copied that, but for right now, we're gonna call the field closed. We'll try to get you out here when we can. If we can't, we'll have to take you over to Atlantic. But stand by for now.
Huh, man.
Medevac, med service 05.
What's going on here?
I didn't hear any of. Hold on. You talk now. Let me make a point. I have not heard from the Trump administration. I've listened to every one of Donald Trump's press conferences since he took office. I listened to all Pete Hegseth's press conferences and Sean Duffy's. I didn't hear any of them say that if somebody who was black, blue, red, green, short, tall, female, male, whatever, got a job, it was because of lowered standards. I didn't hear that. You're changing
They are saying that.
No, they didn't.
They are saying that. It is called a dog whistle. They are saying that. In 2020, it was Black Lives Matter, right? In 2022, it was CRT. In 2024, it was woke. And now in 2025, it is DEI. All of that is
You just can't give it, but you're the one making this about race. They're the ones making it about merit.
They're the one that's making Leland.
Right. Black Lives Matter was evil. We've gone over that a lot. It was evil. Straight up. I mean, it was a scam too. It was just an outright scam. They took your money and then had no accountability. No one knows where $50 million went, at least. DEI is racism. Absolute government mandated racism. That's what it is.
They're the ones that are making this about race. Now, I didn't know you want to do this dance with me tonight. You should have told me. I would have wore different dance shoes. They are making this about race. Every time.
So Trump is getting rid of racism, saying, just like Martin Luther King said, he had a dream that he didn't want people to be judged by the color of their skin. That was his dream, but rather by the content of their character. Okay, what DEI does is the exact opposite. What all these leftist programs do. It's designed to create a race war. And black people who really, to be honest, are at the top of the genetic tree. They're the fastest, they're the strongest, they're the most athletic, highly gifted musicians, artists, doctors, lawyers, okay, who with Lyndon Johnson, who was a part of the KKK, by the way, who started the war on poverty, started the quote unquote Civil Rights Act. It's only made it worse. And I hope, and many black people are waking up to this, which is awesome, that you have been used as a pawn for the left, for the globalists, whatever you want to call them, the Democrats right now, to further their agenda. The Communist Manifesto's agenda, the Marxist agenda. You're a pawn to be sacrificed. Same with the trans. You're a pawn. You really think those people are being sympathetic, trying to create trans rights? No, they're trying to create chaos. They're trying to turn you into a villain and then sacrifice you. That's the whole goal here. That's the agenda. And so that's why there's a strong, believe it or not, Trans for Trump movement, really strong LGBTQ for Trump movement. Okay, because trans people, common sense trans people, don't want to be billboard. They don't want to go and infiltrate the military. They don't want to go infiltrate schools, grade schools. They don't want to be doing that. They know their eyes are getting opened. Yep. I don't know what you're saying here, Steve. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. They just use different words and acronyms. Yeah. To obfuscate the truth. Well said. Well said. Yep. Very well said, Steve. So whatever they can do to create chaos and division and hatred. I talked earlier about, so just imagine if you're black and you hear this, tell me how this makes you feel. Just imagine if I raise my kids saying that blacks hate you. You will always be hated. Okay, you have to go fight for yourself against blacks because you're the beat down, downtrodden one. And then that child is raised with that perspective. Okay, that's how you breed hatred. That's how you breed division. That's how you breed racism. You create racism. That's the whole plan. And so what's awesome is the number of common sense blacks who are waking up all over the place and who have, by the way, some of my favorite news people, podcasters are black who have woken up. It's just, and it's so refreshing and it brings peace. Same, you know what? Same with gays, even trans. There's a super outspoken trans guy for Trump. I don't remember his name. It's just refreshing. And you're welcome with open arms. And Trump will defend you. He'll defend your rights. But when you go and try, same with a Muslim. If you're Muslim and you want to be here in America and you want freedom and you want to be able to go to the mosque and worship and pray and even talk about it, preach about it, go on YouTube and Facebook and talk about it, you have the freedom. But if you want to hijack our government, hijack our military, hijack our schools, that gets a little weird, right? Right. That's just common sense. All right.
Time I turn around, they're talking about DEI. They're making this about race.
Why?
Yeah, because DEI has literally infiltrated our entire fabric of our government. Billions of dollars. They made it their number one focus. We saw it with the California Fire Department, with the LA Fire Department. Their number one, they said their number one goal and vision was to implement DEI. That's what they said. That's what I talked about earlier with the air traffic control people. They made DEI a priority. They fired white, especially men who were qualified for the job, who were veterans, who had been there for decades even. Okay, there's tons of lawsuits. It's been going on for years. I didn't know any of this. It's just being exposed. And I hope people's eyes are being opened to how infiltrated all the way down to our education system, all the way down to all of our bureaucracy, all over government. It's just corruption. You're just being used as a pawn.
Hold on. You're the one conflating. Hold on. Let me finish.
No, I'm not.
Let me finish.
And so then the result is hatred. People perfectly okay and willing to do crazy psychotic things. So we've been talking about this. Just be ready for terrorist attacks because, of course, they did away with the border, which is the whole goal. You're a world citizen. You're not a citizen of the United States in the EU's mindset, in the World Economic Forum, the WEF, the WHO. We're citizens of the world. We don't want boundaries and countries. We don't want borders, right? So that's where they were going. They just opened the border. And I think there's probably, this is my gut, that there's probably 100 million illegals here in the States. And at least 10, maybe 20 million just over Biden's presidency came in. And we're talking terrorists, radicals, gangbangers, cartels. They were literally, and I'll be exposing this. And you guys, I know this firsthand. Okay. I know this firsthand. The government works with the cartels to traffic people, human trafficking. The deep state. The state is so deep, as Elon Musk keeps uncovering the waste, the government spending to the tune of multiple, it's almost all the money that the government spends is waste. I would say probably 99% is going to shell company to shell company to shell company, shell corporations, millions of shell corporations. They're tracking where our tax dollars are going, and it's all being revealed. We covered this the other night, and this has been the case for a long time. It's nothing new, but what's new is that people's eyes are actually being opened. And so this is just amazing. Now, the point of this video is to kind of show what's going on with the crash here, the plane crash, but also just we need to stay vigilant here. This is a cancer that needs to be cut off, and they're not just going to lay down. They're going to incite violence. You already have mayors of cities. You have governors saying, nope, we're going to fight against Trump, against deportations of illegals, even criminals. Nope. They get to somehow people are convinced that it's okay to have not only just illegals here, which is a felony. It's a felony, criminal felony, just to come here illegally. You're saying F you to all the people that came here legally and did it right and went through the process. Okay. And many of them commit crimes, and they're just released. It's the most insane shit I've ever heard. It's literally the most insane shit, but this is how you've been indoctrinated if you actually believe this and think this.
Okay. You're the one who's saying DEI equals race. They're the ones who say we don't want DEI. It doesn't matter about race. We want merit.
Yeah.
No, but they're turning around in a backhanded way.
Nope.
See, you need to come on and travel through the Black community with me.
And so these people in media, many of them know exactly what they're doing. They're doing this maliciously. She's just lying. Now, some people might just be radicalized and actually just believe that because they're indoctrinated. Some of the media people, I don't know, but many of them, you're just in a cult. Literally, it's a cult.
And have this conversation in the Black community. I want to invite you to do that because most Black people understand what is going on here.
So miraculously, people are waking up. We had record high Blacks vote Republican since, Martin Luther King was a Republican, just FYI there. Okay. So since that era, this was it was like 10 times more Black votes Trump got than like George Bush. Okay. I love, this is one of my favorite guys right here. DeVroy Darkins, who's Black, by the way. He's one of my favorites because he's awesome. I don't give a fuck what his skin color is. This is the least racist period of time in history. In the least racist country in history. Yes. Now, racism has been just infiltrated. It's been pushed. It's been hatred. Racism has been engineered into our society now. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard, we need her. We got to have Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, 5 fatalities confirmed in Philadelphia plane crash.
Landing or taking off?
I think we called it.
Taking off. Patient. Were they landing or taking off? Taking off. guess they all ran from here, huh? Yeah, they locked the doors too.
I really hope the internet's been okay. Someone's infiltrating my internet. Okay. Let's watch this.
Media page called Rapid Response. Dealing with the liberal media is at the top of President Trump's mind. And now the White House is rolling out a new strategy to hold the media accountable. It's launching a new social media.
And that does, by the way, include Fox News, by the way. Okay, so Fox News has often been just used as a tool to also create divide and hate, right? That's the goal. That's a communist manifesto. You control both sides. You create division. You destabilize, create division, conquer both sides, right? You own both sides. That's the communist manifesto. You create fake issues and fake problems that aren't the real problem. They're fake problems, and divide and conquer.
Media page called Rapid Response 47, providing real-time updates on the administration's every move. The first page reads, quote, "Welcome to the official Rapid Response account of the Trump 47 White House. We will support President Donald J. Trump's America First agenda and hold the fake news accountable for their lies. Let's make America great again." Kaylee, the name of the game here is accountability. Rapid response is an important endeavor for any campaign. I mean,
so Elon Musk has just like saved the world. Also, it's the only reason why Trump won was because of freedom of speech. We had the Fourth Amendment. I mean, the Fourth Amendment. So freedom of speech is the most pivotal. It's more clear than ever. The way they're able to control the information, which means you have all the power and you dictate what the narratives are, such as brutality, police brutality against blacks, for example, fake news. It was the whole thing's a hoax. Okay. We went over that also in the last stream.
I mean, these guys are so impressive. They're like young keyboarders who like know everything and in an instant can fact check.
Yeah, and one of their responsibilities is going to be to push back on the liberal hoaxes, the false narratives that are going to come out about this administration and its policy moves. But I almost wonder if this page is really necessary, because I feel like the leftist media has done such a good job of just destroying their credibility on their own that I wonder if anyone even takes them seriously anymore. And I was thinking of this during the very first White House press briefing this week when an Associated Press reporter asked Caroline Leavitt if she was going to vow to be honest and truthful at all times. And I was sitting there thinking, where were you when you were sitting in front of Karine Jean-Pierre? How many questions did you ask about the president's cognitive ability at that time? Were you accurately reporting on the COVID lab leak? Did you try and suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story? And the answer for the vast majority of reporters in that room is that they all lied. They're not honest people. And the greatest thing about this past election cycle is that...
Yeah, so the whole Biden laptop thing was an absolute scandal. The Russia hoax, Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy hoax. And the media just peddles and peddles and peddles. And then we find out that it's false, but it's not public information until years later, and they don't even care. They're on to 50 other things to constantly demonize Trump. That's why it's so refreshing. Trump just came in this bombastic way, crazy sometimes, and just didn't even care. That's what's so amazing. Elisha, buddy, I love you. That's my son. I'm going to go get him here. He's going to spend the night. Let's go, buddy.
Voters have figured that out, and they just don't listen to them anymore.
You know, Emily, and I just think about some of the mistruths that have now been debunked. The COVID lab leak theory, which is now credible all of a sudden. Lafayette Square, we've been through this on the show, but the most egregious one.
The J6 hoax, it's all coming out. The COVID hoax it's all coming out. The nefarious bullshit, and then the way it's already come out. Mark Zuckerberg just came right out and said orders from the Biden administration to Facebook forcing censoring of speech. I mean, we're just right back to Hitler and the brown coats.
During my tenure was the bounties on the head of U.S. soldiers that they said Russia had in Afghanistan, and they suggested Trump didn't do anything and let our soldiers die, to which the Daily Beast later revealed Trump might have been right to call it a hoax. The left-wing Daily Beast. Accountability is important.
Gosh, everything. I mean, the list is so long. The whipping, things that were brought up, by the way, in these confirmation hearings, literally those mistruths continue to be put forth by sitting senators and sitting congressmen. It kills me. Here's what I love about it, though, is that if libs try to come out and say, like, but
they have to just keep saying, will you concede that Trump lost the election? Well, no, it was a rigged election, like by a good 13 million votes. And we know that. We have countless hours of investigation and testimony and evidence from a gazillion different fronts, and in every way you could possibly imagine proof. It's proven the election was rigged. And they just, every single Senate hearing, they just want to drill, like, make them bend the knee. Biden won. They just want to, you just want to convince yourself Biden won. Nope. Rigged election.
what about all the disinformation and misinformation and all the million other misinformation words? We can be like, oh yeah, totally. Actually, go to Rapid 47 and that's the account. Yeah, that's the one that has the facts. So just give it right back to them so that they know the truth actually is out there.
Yep. And hey, you can disagree. That's the beautiful thing about the First Amendment, freedom of speech. You can just disagree. And then we can have open dialogue. Novel thought. Yeah, we've seen this one. So crazy. So, guys, I'd say we're just getting started with this.
Dealing with the liberal media is at the top of President.
We're just getting started. Okay, there's more. There's been some updates. Did you see this? Yeah, Grassley details previously unrealized emails between FBI agents and DOJ prosecutors colluding to go after President Trump in 2022 under the operation codename Arctic Frost. This disclosure took place during Senator Grassley's opening statement with Kash Patel. Yeah, yesterday. We saw that. It sure did. I mean, it's just endless, of course. Like, we've known this all along. So you got to see this. Moderna CEO confessed to creating the so-called vaccine for COVID-19 2 years before the now confirmed lab-made virus was released in the world. Okay, this is nuts. Destabilized.
So the great news versus 2020, where we are today, is we have manufacturing capacity. As Seth knows, when the pandemic happened, Moderna had made 100,000 doses in 2019 for the whole year. And I remember walking after Davos into the office of my head of manufacturing, and I say, how we make 1 billion doses next year? And they look at me a bit funny, say, what? I say, yeah, we need to make 1 billion doses next year. There's going to be a pandemic.
And Fauci. So there's like 50 videos that I'll be showing you guys about how they all warned there was going to be a pandemic. They all pre-programmed this. Nope, it's live, my man. Yeah. We are live.
He said, don't worry, Trump will be hit by a new pandemic out of China respiratory. Boy, they don't even hide it. They love to brag like we're all stupid.
The government fears Alex Jones, who has the largest audience in the...
How do we make $1 billion next year? Oh, we'll just have a pandemic. And they've been warning that there's more pandemics to come because we've literally created them. More is coming out about Lyme's disease. The Lyme's disease was created by us and released as weaponized. Even the Spanish flu potentially. Okay, all this is going to be released, and that's what's so amazing. Trump is just unleashing transparency and unleashing the truth with stuff we've already known, that RFK, or Robert F. Kennedy, was assassinated by the CIA or the FBI. Yeah. Yep. Blue Pill, Operation Blue Pill. Is that what it's called? Nothing would surprise me anymore. Yeah, Blue Beam. That's what it is. Project Blue Beam. Right there. There it is. Yep. We'll cover Project Blue Beam. Weird noises.
I've talked a lot about this before. And we played the clips, and I need to get them because what's old's new. The last 5 years, the COVID power grab that blew up in their face. Fauci on C-SPAN 2 years before they released it. Daszak a few years before.
Yep.
Saying, oh, we've already got.
All this stuff, by the way, was released back in like 2020. We already knew all this. Oh, here we go. So, Mr. Crust. This is exactly what we're talking about. All right. So, trust no one. Verify everything. So, I have no idea what you're saying here. What I'm saying is that society as a whole has been indoctrinated for years. Okay. It's all just being revealed right before us now. It's just obvious now. It's fact. You can't really deny it. You cannot deny it. You just can't deny the truth. You can't deny it now. It's just right before your eyes. Children in Europe being gang raped and then getting arrested for screaming from the rooftops that they got raped. And then their parents also getting arrested for tweeting it. Like, whoa, just pause for a second. You're indoctrinated if you actually believe in this leftist, you're a cult. You're either evil and you're perpetuating this, or you're just indoctrinated like a sheep being led to the slaughter, like a moth to the flame. It's that simple. So people's eyes are being opened to what's actually going on instead of just being led like dumb sheep. Here we go. Hey, finally, we're getting some. We're getting them in. Let's go. We're getting the lefty lunatics in the house. Here it is. Right there. Yep, you're indoctrinated. No, I watch everything, everyone. I watch everyone on all sides. Yep. I don't just watch one infiltrated, owned by globalist Marxist media and just let them indoctrinate me. You watch everyone. I watch Alex Jones. I watch the lefty lunatics. I know all the narratives. Right? So that is, and you're literally pre-programmed, and you've been pre-programmed for years to say, oh, you're just a sheeple of Fox News. You know how many times I heard that? No. Yeah, we'll watch Alex Jones. We'll watch MSNBC, even though I'd rather have shards of glass in my eyes because they can't even say one truthful thing. It's lie after lie after lie. Endless lies. Here it is. Let's go. Let's insult the insults. This is what you do. You insult. You're the compassionate ones. The left actually think they are compassionate. But they're reduced to name calling, hatred. They're perfectly okay with assassinating Trump at all costs. They're purposely okay with whatever name calling. That's what they do. This is the scheme. That's the whole point. That's what the globalists do. We're watching it right here in the chat. The globalists, you divide, you destabilize, divide, conquer. You create hatred, you destabilize, divide on issues that aren't real, fake issues, such as racism. Let's hear it. Racism, fake issue. And then it justifies your hatred. It justifies your anti-American. It justifies the nonsense that's going on. That's called brainwashing, boys and girls. We're watching it right here, baby. We're watching it. So here's what's so amazing. This is what's so funny. If you want to go back and watch my other videos here over this last week, the ones that YouTube, by the way, hasn't taken down. Okay. That I've hardly ever watched Alex Jones my whole life until just now, just recently. When I watched him in the past, I thought he was kind of crazy. And then all of a sudden, he's just covering the news. He's just literally just covering the news. And he's getting hundreds of millions of people watching him every single day. And I'm just like, what world do we live in? Nope. Wrong side of history. It's all fake. Total wrong side of history. And it's obvious. You're promoting DEI, which is racist. You're saying you're literally promoting racism. You're going backwards in history. That's what's going on here, baby. DEI, we just saw it. Planes crashing, eyes being opened because they don't have, they're literally promoting the hiring of people who have serious psychotic issues. And then you just uncover it more. There's hundreds of lawsuits. People have been fired illegally because of racism. I mean, and so people's eyes are being opened. You're on the wrong side of history. Here it is. Let's go. Woo. Yeah, you're right. Except right now, Trump's winning. Trump's beating you all have just gotten your faces knocked in. Trump's winning. Sorry. Which means AKA the freedom fighters are winning. Yeah. Give communism a chance. Let's go. Look up beaten by Antifa. Yeah, I mean, it worked. Let me tell you, my spirit and my soul was dead. It worked on me. I've just been resurrected back to life, baby. Oh, we're going to go deep into Antifa and the depths of hell that is. Oh, we will. Proud Boys, the J6 hoax, baby. The brown coats came in and arrested them. The brown coats came in. The Nazi, the actual fascist, the anti-fascist fascists did, for a time, they won. But now everyone's eyes are being opened to the J6 hoax, baby. Right. There's no evidence that the plane crash, either one of them, or DEI. That is correct. But the alarming thing that did come out of it was all these lawsuits and all the issues with the program, with the airports, with the hiring. That's the alarming thing. They were firing people who were veterans, long time in the job, who were the best people for the job, to put in literally people who had vision impaired issues, hearing impaired issues. They were putting in people who had cognitive issues. And so people who weren't the best people for the job, which is alarming. So that's what it's a wake up call. And you realize, holy shit, this is what's happened with DEI. Like, this is how insane we've gotten. It's like literally saying, I need to have heart surgery, and we got to have a black person who's not a surgeon, who's not even a doctor, do the surgery. You would think, okay, yeah, that's insane. Nobody would ever do that. No, but it's literally what they've been doing. Oh, that's just what I do, baby. Call it a tick. A pilot doesn't need to see. No worries here. I love it. So racist. So racist. Giving people not being colorblind. Colorblind is racist. That's called pre-programming. Being merit-based, which means and this is literally the mindset. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. So it's just like funny. This is the mindset of the lefty lunatics, is that it's racist to say be colorblind. It's racist to say, to literally just quote Martin Luther King, who said, I have a dream that one day people will be judged not based off the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That's racist, according to the left. It's racist to say this is another perfect example. This is how you know blacks, you're just being played. You're a pawn in the hands of people who are playing you for your votes. The right, the Republicans, which again, there is no Republican or Democrat. Let's remember this. There's globalist Marxists and there's freedom fighters. Okay, there is no Republican Democrat. So just to be clear, but in the moment right now, the Republicans are saying you need to have voter ID to go vote, right? Because the elections are rigged and we need to clean this up. We need to fix our rigged ass, shady ass, irresponsible elections. Okay, so you got to have a driver's license or ID to go vote. The left says that's racist because black people are too stupid to be able to go produce an ID. And so we are being racist and we are inhibiting black people who are so irresponsible and so dumb that they can't even produce an ID to go vote. So you tell me who's the racist ones there. The racist ones are the left saying that black people are too stupid to get an ID to go vote. That's the racist one. But see how they turn it around. See how they pre-program. You see how they indoctrinate. Just one a day, baby. One Adderall a day. You mean my ex-wife? My ex-wife does love me. She's like my best friend. Happy birthday, Nick. Okay. By the non-tent of their character, well said. Let's go. But I do agree as a veteran that this is suspicious and weird, right? So it's here's what's clear about the helicopter crash. The helicopter crashing into the plane. It wasn't an accident. That's crystal clear. Now, there is a rumor that one of the people in the helicopter was a trans. I don't know about that. But probably more likely is that these things have autopilot and someone hacked into that, and it's like more like a terrorist attack. So, yeah, there's no way it was just a simple accident. It's impossible. Yeah, that's clear. All right. Okay. Okay, we got another shot here of the airplane crash. Shout out to Benny Johnson. Dang, man. It just fell right on a road. Right on the road in between apartment units. Damn. That's crazy, you guys. Crazy. Awful. President Trump arrived at Palm Beach. The director for Disney's next Star Wars film is a Pakistani Canadian feminist who wants men to feel uncomfortable watching her movie. Is this a winning formula for Disney and Hollywood? Nope. Okay, we already watched that. All right. I want to watch this, see what's going on here. We got to get Tulsi Gabbard.
Vladimir Putin and Bashar al-Assad. I don't think this has anything to do with her being a woman. It has to do with how she has talked about Vladimir Putin and Bashar al-Assad and how she's talked about Edward Snowden.
Yeah, let's deal with the.
Hey, we got people saying Tulsi Gabbard for possible first woman president. I'm here for it. She better make it through. She's awesome.
Combat veteran thing first. She served honorably. I have no critique about her record at all. Let it stand for itself. But is that to say that if you ever once wore the uniform, you can't be a spy? Shall we name a few names? David Greenglass, you mentioned the Rosenberg spy case a few minutes.
They're still peddling this Tulsi Gabbard's a spy. Seriously? That like still today? This was today. And they're still peddling this bullshit. Unbelievable.
Minutes ago, there was David Greenglass in the Army in Los Alamos spying for the Soviet Union. Let's not forget John Anthony Walker, a Navy intelligence officer, convicted of spying for the Soviets, I think during the Reagan administration, earning the nickname Johnny Walker Red. You can be wearing the uniform and be a foreign agent. Now, I'm not saying she is, but the fact that she honorably wore the uniform does not excuse her or anybody else of criticism where it's merited.
I'm going to give you the last.
Sure, it doesn't excuse anyone from criticism. Yeah, that's correct. How about you, my man?
Word on this. I just want to put a button on this because you said it doesn't preclude somebody from being a spy. Then you said you're not suggesting she is. So if you're not suggesting she's a spy, then what's wrong with her that would be worthy of disqualification?
I think she's what Vladimir Lenin was once.
What do we have here? We got a bunch of trolls in the house today, baby.
Said to have called a useful idiot. Her views are so bizarre, really on a different planet.
Really? Her views are bizarre? Really? Oh, is that right? Okay. Uh-huh.
She doesn't have to be a Russian agent. Nobody has to accuse her of that, although Mitt Romney did say.
Here we got some mega troll action going on here. Woo! What is going on? Let's go.
Say she was treasonous. And Hillary Clinton, her fellow Democrat, said the Russians were grooming her to run for president.
Right. That bullshit is still being peddled. Unbelievable.
I don't think this has anything to do with her.
Airplanes falling out of the sky. I'm gonna his Harrison Smith's show today. We're gonna talk all about it probably tomorrow. Ships crashing into bridges, trains exploding, entire states covered in toxic ash, unnaturally strong hurricanes, massive wildfires, poisonous injections, chemicals in the water. World War III is crazy. Yeah, it's just buckle up, boys and girls. The lefty lunatics are not just going to lay down. Yeah. Yep. This is correct. Yep. Yes. So they do have autopilot, whatever, autonomous control systems and that's probably the more likely thing that happened was the Black Hawk helicopter got somehow hacked and controlled and flown into the plane purposely, or somebody on there was a terrorist because it was purposely done. Well said. It's just a big bush down there. I love it. Okay. There's a couple new things that's come out. Okay, breaking. A pediatric medical patient yes, we knew this, was on the Learjet that crashed in Philadelphia. So there was like 2 doctors and a patient that on that plane that just crashed. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Electronic terrorism. That's right. It totally could be. Absolutely. Yep. Well said. Okay, what is this? Did we see this one, Phil?
Ai, meu Deus! Ai, meu Deus! Meu Deus! Quase que a nossa casa pegou fogo! Ai, meu Deus! Ai, meu Deus! Ai, meu Deus!
You're
Ai,
good.
meu Deus, o carro pegou fogo! Ai, meu Deus, acho que essa pegou fogo! Ai! Ai, meu Deus! Ai, meu Deus! Ai, meu Deus! Ai! Vou entrar lá dentro, Kevin, com eles!
Okay, so this one, we don't know what happened, but the other one where the helicopter ran into the plane was definitely not an accident. 100%, 100%. This one, we don't know what the hell happened. We do know this, though. There has not been an American soil plane crash since 2009. There's been over 150 million flights with 0 crashes in the United States since 2009. We know that much. But here's even another issue. You look at the DEI programs, for example, with Boeing. That's coming out. It's all coming out. Inferior aircrafts being made. So some just lunacy shit has been happening. That's where people's eyes are being opened to this. I'm going to show some videos down the road about how the technology with the Boeing aircrafts have gone backwards, not forwards. And DEI is very much a part of that because we're not getting the best people for the job to build our aircrafts, by the way. Like, Okay, here. Yeah, ultimate proof. The Democrats are the party of violence. Okay, we already saw that. We saw this. But the one we watched was shorter. This one's longer.
We are going to fight it. Legislatively, we are going to fight it in the courts. And we're going to fight it in the streets.
And we're going to fight it in the streets. So what he's saying is he's going to fight Trump. What's happening in Chicago, what's happening, some governors, some mayors are saying we're going to fight Trump on deporting illegal aliens out of the country. And so one of the things that has been going on in Chicago, apparently, is letting them out of prison and out of jail, convicted criminals who are illegal, and then assisting them in a name change. So nothing to see there, right? I mean, they're how thoughtful and compassionate, right? To let people here who came illegally, which is basically saying fuck you to anybody who came here legally and did it the legal way. And then on top of that, people who committed crimes, assisting them to walk the streets, to change their name and obstruct ICE's investigation to deport them. Compassionate. That's so thoughtful and compassionate of them.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Chris always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I'm just sorry to say, big guy there, Biden, Trump would have kicked your ass at any age.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
I'll meet him in a hotel room any day of the week and give him a Louisville Slugger. Kiss my mother ass, you bitch, punk sucker.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
Maybe there will be. I just don't even know why there's not uprisings. Like she's literally just calling for uprisings. I mean, literally inciting violence.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
You know, there needs.
Okay, so all you lefty lunatics, just actually accept that message because you're pre-programmed to hate Trump and Trump's followers, such as Proud Boys. Okay, and so literally just justify any way, shape, or form you can destroy him and take him down. You literally justify it and rationalize it in your own mind that that's okay. And it's because you've been pre-programmed. The news media is a terrorist organization. Straight up. Straight up. Okay. People ask me on X why the explosion was so big for a small plane. It's because medical planes, like the one that crashed in Philadelphia, have oxygen canisters. It only needs a fuel source. Huh. Yeah.
Needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
When they go low, we kick.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
It's an actor dressed to look just like President Donald Trump as he's assassinated on stage. Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Yep. Snoop. This is acceptable behavior from our empathetic, caring, loving, gentle, considerate, and caring and loving left-wing lunatics here.
We are watching a rally right now. Former President Trump was just in the middle of a speech when what sounded like possible shots were fired. We saw the former president, take cover.
Breaking news, former President Donald Trump is safe and a 20-year-old shooter is dead after a shocking assassination attempt on the former president in Pennsylvania.
We begin tonight with the breaking news and the second assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
He is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Let me give you one bottom.
He must be eliminated. This is how lefty lunatics have been pre-programmed every single day, all day, every day, pumping through the news. When you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, and all over the world, BBC, all these lunatics pumping in this garbage all day, every day, nonstop for 10 years straight.
Wine. As a former government official, government's going to kill this guy.
He needs to be shot. Stop.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Oh my gosh.
Boy, Michael Bloomberg is so upset that it came out.
So, anything new popping up? DEI and the Black experience in America. This is going to be good. Take it to the bank, baby.
I think it's important for me to acknowledge that I want to talk about DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion. And before I do, I think it's important for me to acknowledge that I'm a Black man who has been a very vocal supporter of Trump.
No, he's not a Black man. He's an Uncle Tom, right? He's an uncle. He's actually he's a white supremacist, right?
And that's unusual. And part of the reason that I support Trump.
Thank God it's not nearly as unusual as it was in the past, because they're waking up, baby.
Trump is because I think he's going to make everyone's lives better, including Black people too. And at the same time, I have a bit of a unique perspective because I'm Black and I'm also first generation. My parents came here from Ghana. So I have access to my part of the Black experience, but not all of the Black experience, because my ancestors weren't traumatized by slavery. And, you know, when it comes to DEI.
Well, okay, you guys know that slavery was way more prominent in Africa. Okay. And there were more white slaves in just Northern Africa during the transatlantic slave trade than there was Black slaves in America. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know Blacks owned, thousands of Blacks living here in the United States owned slaves, including white slaves? You don't hear that because you're pre-programmed to not hear that. You're indoctrinated to not hear that. You don't hear that every civilization all throughout human history has had slavery. And during the time of the transatlantic slavery trade, slavery was everywhere in the world. All countries had slaves, especially in Africa. You don't hear this. And that America, the United States of America, and Britain, Great Britain, were two of the first countries that outlawed slavery. You don't hear that either.
I think it has been so divisive, and this approach to forced diversity has been hurting everyone, Black people included. And at the same time, even if it's a flawed solution, it's trying.
I'm sorry to hear that. Reignite America. Best of wishes.
To address a real problem, because there is an achievement gap in America. There is a wealth gap between Black and white people in America. And I'm confident that Trump was the best choice in this election to make America.
And here's why there's that gap. A big reason why there's the gap, since Lyndon Johnson, who, by the way, was a member of the KKK, created the War on Poverty and the Civil Rights Act, okay, who literally has made, and all the Democrat cities everywhere, all throughout the country, okay, have literally been playing you, using you like a pawn in their scheme to be sacrificed to keep you downtrodden, playing you. And people are waking up to it because we know that blacks is in many ways, if not maybe always, but at least in many ways, are the top of the food chain, the fastest, the strongest. They are some of the brightest people, some of the best artists, some of the best singers, some of the best everything are blacks. And so they create straw man arguments. They use statistics. The universities do. And you have liars, you have damn liars, and you have statistics. Then you have the media, the politicians, and worst of the lowest of low is you have the universities peddling this bullshit.
Stronger, more powerful, wealthier, and that can uplift all of America. And at the same time, I could totally understand how many people who look like me are concerned that something that's better for America is not better for us. And everyone wants to be in the position to give their best. And I think that's what equality really should be about.
Yep.
Not equity, not fixing outcomes, but creating the best conditions for everyone to give their best.
Amen.
And it can be scary to see Trump ending DEI and not replacing it with anything. So I'm just saying that because
it's going to be replaced with hard work and being colorblind. I mean, that's what it should be. That you don't judge a person by the color of their skin, just straight up. Equal opportunity. That's actual equal opportunity. So if Harvard, if there's 40 seats open in Harvard for a doctor course or whatever, you pick the best 40 people regardless of their skin color. That's what, it doesn't matter what race they are. That's what we want to achieve, right? I mean, that's what we're going for.
Because people just want help. You know, people want help. And even if the way they've been receiving help is flawed, they want to know that they're still going to get help of some kind. In an effort to make America greater,
yep,
we want to make sure that it makes everyone's lives greater too.
Absolutely.
So it's tricky talking about this stuff because sometimes people, they fixate on the past and racial grievances and reparations and who's responsible for what. And I think that's all missing the point, which is people want help and they want to make sure that what they thought they were getting helped by gets replaced by something that they're actually getting helped by. So,
yep.
Me personally, I'm still thinking about solutions to this problem. As I come up with them, I'll share them. But in the meantime, I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Now, this guy was retweeted. All it took was a retweet from Elon because he's good. Elon retweeted him and he is huge now. He is new and young to this, and his eyes are going to get opened to. He's great, though, for reaching out to people who are in the matrix, who are just sheep being led to the slaughter to help open their eyes. But what's going to happen is he's going to get demonized and attacked, and he's going to try and reason and have civil conversations. And he's going to, like, I just envision him 5 years down the road, not necessarily having the same sort of like patient, long-suffering president. But I love this guy. He had a great quote last night. Okay. Yeah, affirmative action never admitted unqualified student. It considered race among many factors for qualified applicants. Studies show affirmative action beneficiaries perform just as well. That's false. Nope. Ending it didn't fix anything. It just reinforced existing inequities. That is 100% a lie. The affirmative action was a disaster, and there's lots of evidence. So I bet he has a good response here. Okay. let's talk about deportations, not just violent criminals, but illegal. This was from the other day, I thought. Okay. I must have missed it. Did I miss it? He had a tweet yesterday. It must have been a response. Okay. So DEI has placed an asterisk. This is exactly my point. DEI has placed an asterisk on the achievements of every Black person and woman in a prestigious role. It's caused those people and the public to reasonably doubt whether they earned their role by merit or they were placed there by agenda. Beautiful point. This hurts Black people, women, and public trust. Well said. Right there. Because basically what DEI is saying, they're saying two things. One, that if they try and make the argument that people won't hire Black people, that's debatable. Okay. But I would say the real issue is that people being put in place because of the color of their skin is racism, and it's got a horrible outlook on the person. What's being said is that you're not good enough on your merit if you're Black, and so we'll give you the job. And it's bad. It hurts Black people. Instead of being colorblind and hiring people and admitting people in school or whatever based purely on merit, that's the only solution. Anything else is literally just racist. We got this guy. What is going on with this guy? We got definitely a troll in the house. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap up. Is there anything else? Let's see what's going on.
I'm so sorry. What about our children who were brutally murdered and raped and beat to death?
Just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. Children.
Seeing that video, it's hard to believe that it's actually genuine and real because she's an actress.
You don't know who you're crying for.
You don't do a selfie of yourself when you're in that state of mind if it's genuine. You don't think, I'll record myself bawling. It's 100% fake and staged and disingenuous and full of shit, and it's just stupid. You're crying over people who came here illegally to be deported. Go to Mexico illegally and see what they do. Go to any other country on earth illegally and they deport your ass.
What about our children who were brutally murdered and raped and beat to death and left on the floor by these illegal immigrants?
I just feel like it's a ruse to deceive people and to garner sympathy for lawlessness.
I wish I could do something, but I can't.
My daughter was a child.
See, it's just another form of pre-programming. And so probably what actually happened with, was that Selena Gomez or Ariana Grande? Selena Gomez doing that is that somebody's owns her. Somebody probably owns her and is forcing her to do that. It's propaganda. It's a propaganda machine. And the insanity and darkness that keeps coming out of Hollywood, which I'm going to be revealing, is very disturbing. So we've got you by the balls. We're going to blackmail you. She's already blackmailed. And so they control her. And so that's how they're trying to stir people up in anger and outrage at a country who's deporting their people and create chaos against Trump. That's exactly just what's happening. And so we're going to have terrorist attacks and planes crash mysteriously, and we're going to have chaos ensuing. Yep.
Any other children whose lives were taken due to people who crossed here illegally.
They didn't cry for our daughters.
No one has stood up except for us mothers to cry out about our children.
I am so happy that Trump won. I am so glad that this is one of the first bills to help with immigration.
It's only been 2 weeks, if that, since he's been in office, and he's taking accountability and he's making moves and he's making things happen.
President Trump genuinely cares for the American people, and he cares for the American family.
I truly appreciate everything Donald Trump has done.
We stand with President Trump and make America safe again.
Make no mistake about it, Donald Trump is absolutely blowing my mind. President Trump responded to the crash in Philadelphia. He did a long time ago. So sad to see the plane go down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. More innocent souls lost. Our people are totally engaged. First responders are already being given credit for their job. More to follow. God bless you all. So we're going to find out what the hell's going on. We got Bill Gates. Doing some shady shit. Being exposed. All right, guys. More to come. I could stream for 100 hours straight with nonstop craziness because there's so much to cover. And it's like my head is spinning. My brain is fried. There's so much going. There's so much happening everywhere. Mind blowing. We got Trump. Hey, guess what? There actually is like a faucet you can turn in California. Look at this. Today, 1.6 billion gallons, and in 3 days it will be 5.2 billion gallons that will flow into California. That's literally just been turned off because of another indoctrination tactic, quote unquote, climate change. They somehow convinced people to not let the water flow and spent billions of dollars of endless government corruption for quote unquote climate change. It's called corruption and bullshit and bureaucracy and gang. It's just gangster what they're doing. So we got water flowing in California again. American Airlines CEO Robert Isom issued the following statement surrounding changes to flight activity at DCA. We're all hurting as we continue to grieve the lost passengers, blah, blah, blah. He gave Trump, he praised Trump's leadership in aviation aviation safety. Quick and decisive action because, we need aviation safety because of DEI. Common sense. Because literally people with psychiatric issues We're controlling our airspace. It's just insane. Oh yeah, there's a lot to uncover here. George Soros, who's a villain, using radio stations he recently purchased to actively dox ICE and Border Patrol agents attempting to execute Trump's deportation order. Yeah, I mean, we've just got endless stuff going on. Fund the children, not the schools. Yeah, the Department of Education is a horse shit piece of shit. It's got to go. We've got them just dropping pandemics and already had the COVID vaccine was already being developed before COVID actually broke out. Did you guys know that? Oh. Yep, you're living. Yeah, this is well said. You're living through a time more exciting than anything Hollywood has ever come up with. This is like the most legendary, epic times.
Neil Bove asked the FBI happening. It can only be described as the start of a massive, much larger than expected purge at the FBI of FBI agents and officials. Many of them, in one way or another, touched the investigations into Donald Trump. Sources telling NBC News this: the Office of Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove asked the FBI for a list of Bureau employees involved in January 6 cases, sparking panic inside the Bureau by people who fear retribution by the Trump administration amidst an ongoing purge of FBI leadership. Meanwhile,
Yep, they better be afraid because it was a hoax. We have all the evidence we need to see that. They covered it up. They illegally destroyed evidence. It's all coming out. So yeah, they're running scared. The brown coats, the lefty brown coats are running scared.
Ken Delanian reports that several top FBI executives were told to resign or be fired, and that the purge includes more than 20 heads of FBI field offices, including those in Miami and Washington, D.C. Happening. It can only be described as the start.
Yep, it better be. The State Department blocked $50 million in U.S. funding for condoms in Gaza. And we know that's just corruption, right? They just peddle that money through a host of different shell company after shell company after shell company. All this is being exposed. Okay, what's this say? The White House press secretary reveals the secret behind the mysterious drones flying over New Jersey. ICE ramps up operation across major cities. Okay, this is just like a news. PragerU, baby. Whoa, we got Kulo in the house. Research Triangle Institute is a top earning NGO that received $4.2 billion in federal contracts and grants under the Biden administration. The Research Triangle Institute is a top earning NGO that received $4.2 billion. That's just like a drop in the bucket. They seem to be trying to hide DEI programs in plain sight after Trump's executive order. Yep. Got lots of that going on. I mean, it's all over the place. We got Kulo. Okay. Arrest them for conspiracy against the rights. Yep. President Trump's Justice Department has just fired every January 6th federal prosecutor. Yep. We've been warning for years that DEI policies would lead to an aviation disaster. That's what I wanted to show you this today. For years. Well, in fact, let's just watch this.
McRiver in Washington, D.C. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the American Journal. More information is coming out about the plane crash yesterday, as well as new camera angles showing the impact in pretty incredible. It's very weird. And so if while actual trends taking place, Get number one skill, or whoever, maybe it was somebody else. We don't pilot wrongfully named in DC crash. Okay.
Okay, so listen up, people. Let's get some sense into that 4 inches of sponge between your ears. Come on, let's go.
That might change things a little bit. Might change a little bit how people are interpreting this. But the videos of this, who is Joe Ellis, trans Black Hawk pilot wrongfully named in DC crash? Okay. My instincts correct again. However, we still don't have the third name of the third person, so we don't know who it is. Could be different transfers. Maybe it wasn't Joe Ellis or whoever. Maybe it was somebody else. We don't know. That would be a little bit more suspicious, especially when we get to some of the other stuff we're going to talk about later, which is transgender terror networks cropping up across the country, including like multiple deadly attacks in just the last week. Which again, I've said it before, but you know, the mainstream media, their number one talent, really, their number one skill in manipulating the American people, or anybody for that matter, is in establishing trends. Sometimes they establish trends that don't exist by reporting on and hyping up, you know, pretty unique situations, but then saying, actually, this is just symptomatic of what's happening all the time. Example I always use is, George Floyd. Obviously, it's not true that Black people are being murdered by the police. There's not a war on Black men by police. That's total nonsense. But they can literally take one or two instances and then paint it as if this is an ongoing trend. While meanwhile, actual trends taking place get reported on individually as, singular instances with no connection to anything else. I'm here to ask you, I'm here to beg you, fine people of the United States, recognize patterns for yourselves. You don't need the MSM to tell you that something is happening with transgender violence. In the last week, you've had a transgender school shooting. You've had transgender radical leftists shoot and kill Border Patrol on the northern border. And you've had a transgender activist try to break into the Capitol with a Molotov cocktail, saying he was there to kill Scott Bessent or Pete Hegseth or any Trump appointee he could find. There is a trend, a deadly... I'm telling you that in the last maybe month, there has been more deadly, legitimate terror attacks by transgender individuals than the last decade of white supremacy, okay? There's a trend happening. It's just not being laid out and made obvious for everybody, so nobody notices it. It's very weird.
So more terror in the last month than the last decade of white supremacy.
Weird. And so if this pilot of this helicopter was trans, it would fall into a pattern. It would align with the trajectory that we're seeing of transgender people in particular being radicalized, being predisposed to mental illness, as it were, and being radicalized severely in a number of different directions, politically, culturally, ideologically. Not to mention that probably the most high level of suicide for any group, which again predisposes them to carry out actions in which they kill or are killed. And looking at the videos that are coming out, it's making me a little bit more suspicious. Yesterday, I said I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I said it's always possible that this was an attack. After all, we are entering a new form of modern warfare.
This was this morning. It's unequivocal now. We know it was an attack of some sort. It wasn't an accident.
In which these are the types of attacks that we would see from foreign entities hacking aircraft and crashing it, to where, maybe the deep state somewhere, maybe some cyber security expert can say what happened, but for the vast majority of the population, it will be indistinguishable accident from attack. Totally possible. Totally possible. Radicalized, member of the Army. We know they're out there. I mean, our armed forces are infiltrated.
President Trump just signed the executive order to end child mutilation.
By, communist revolutionaries. Could they have carried out this attack as a lone wolf or as a part of a, wider planned operation? Totally possible. At the same time, not out of the question. We showed the video yesterday of, helicopters flying very close to planes taking off from Reagan International. There was a certain lack of, security or measures in place to prevent this sort of thing from happening. But then you see the video and it's like, okay, this actually does look fairly deliberate. Here we see the two aircraft.
And there's several
right
more
into each other.
Several more videos.
Also a little bit, and then crashing into that. I mean, that video almost looks fake because of just how almost cinematic it is. Also, we've got a couple videos of this. I'm not super suspicious of why people are filming, because people are filming stuff all the time. But that video in particular, it's kind of like, well, why did this person just happen to be filming this at this moment? It didn't seem like there was anything ahead of the crash that would have hinted that something like this was going to happen to make somebody get out their phone and start filming. Maybe they were just filming the river at that time. I don't know. I know when I'm, taking off for landing, probably about half the time I'll film it just because it looks cool. And who knows if something goes wrong, be nice to have a video of it. But this is clip number 10. This is sort of a split view, but it's probably the best view of the crash as I've seen it so far. These are.
Hey, I'm used to YouTube removing videos, my man. Good. Thank God for Twitter.
New videos that came out overnight. Let's go now to clip number 10.
These videos obtained exclusively by CNN show previously unseen angles of the collision between an American Airlines flight and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. In the first video, the Black Hawk can be seen flying at speed over the Potomac from the left side of the screen. The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a mid-air explosion and fall into the river. In the second video, you can see the Army helicopter and American Airlines plane travel toward each other. After the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water.
So yeah, I gotta admit, I mean, it can be hard to see aircraft from one aircraft to see another. But it looks like the helicopters flew right into the plane, like directly at it from a pretty far distance away. These videos have made me a lot more suspicious about the real cause behind this. Clip number 17 is again that new clearer video from across the Potomac. Let's watch that again. That's just the raw footage of what you just saw. But yeah, I mean, it certainly looks deliberate. I have to admit, it sort of looks deliberate. Clip 18, a new video, again from a different angle this time, and again you get a feeling of just how unlikely this was, perhaps to have happened by accident.
It's impossible. We've heard from many experts.
So you can see from just how far away it's flying.
Yeah. It's impossible.
You see the two dots above the horizon. I mean, that's the one on the left is, I believe the one on the left is the helicopter, and the big one in the center is the plane. And that helicopter seems to approach the plane for quite a while.
Yeah. So the plane was the one in the center because it was flying towards the camera. The helicopter was flying across. I thought it was the other way around before.
There is the collision. Pretty incredible stuff. Pete Hegseth has made an interesting statement about what was happening in the helicopter. Let's go now to clip number 7. Here's Pete Hegseth, newly ordained Secretary of Defense, describing the mission that the helicopter was on.
Staff Sergeant and CW2 Chief Warrant Officer, on a routine annual retraining of night flights on a standard corridor for a continuity of government mission. The military does dangerous things. It does routine things.
Continuity of government mission. Sort of a trigger word for us. So a continuity of government is the Dr. Strangelove how I learned to stop wearing and load the bomb. It's the idea that the government has backup facilities for itself, and in the event of a major disaster like nuclear war, the government will save itself and be able to recreate America from the ashes. Of course, in Dr. Strangelove, it was like, is it really so bad that the world gets destroyed? You know, we would be in charge. You know, we would be in charge forever, and we'd have to have those, you know, fertile women to repopulate the earth. Gee, is that really something we want to avoid? So, you know, continuity of government is not exactly something you want to hear from your government at any time, but apparently they were doing training there. Now we get to the controversy. Now we get to the controversial aspect of this. Of course, when we were live yesterday, Trump gave a press conference where he talked about DEI hiring in the FAA and the fact that the FAA's capabilities have been systematically weakened over decades by the institution of DEI practices. We didn't really get into the details of that, but it would honestly take a whole show. I mean, the timeline is there for you to find out. I retweeted the thread yesterday from Patrick Casey that gets into a little bit, but very, very deliberately over a great period of time, slowly but surely, like measure after measure has been implemented. And the outcome now is that there's a massive shortage of air traffic controllers, thousands upon thousands of perfectly qualified, indeed, like people who I've explained this before too. This is the problem. InfoWars is so ahead of the curve. It's like hard to cover some of this stuff because I probably covered 3 years ago how this all came about, because that was when the plane close calls started happening. We started seeing all of these instances where like a FedEx plane almost slammed into a passenger jet, except for the split-second decision by the pilot to pull up, even though the air traffic controller was telling him to go down. And we started looking at this and going, something's gonna happen. Eventually, there's going to be a passenger jet going down because of the way that they have instituted DEI in the hiring of some of the most important life and death, situations that exist out there. So we've been covering this for so long. It's like, do we have to go back and revisit this? Hopefully you just know all of this already.
Nope.
But I mean, they did things like,
a lot of people are just coming in, my man. A lot of people are just waking up. You gotta start from scratch and lay it out.
Where you'd had people who'd worked as air traffic controllers without a single demerit, a single mistake for a decade, and then they would reapply under the new standards and would be cut because they were white men or because they, had some other, immutable characteristic that was being discriminated against by the FAA in hiring. And so it wasn't even that you were disqualifying and not hiring potentially qualified people. They actually got rid of people who had proven their qualifications, who had proven their capabilities over decades. They were removed, kicked out, not rehired, subjected to tests that were designed to fail them. And what you're left with is a very diverse group of incompetents letting your plane fall out of the sky. So we've been covering this forever. So it's a little bit frustrating because I feel like we have to go over it, but there's all this new stuff. Donald Trump brings this up. And the reaction to this is pretty infuriating, especially when you think about the way that the left politicizes absolutely everything in the most ridiculous way. I mean, I, for one, am surprised. I'm shocked, in fact, that they have not tried to blame this crash on climate change. Maybe that was just a little bit too far outside of the realm of believability, but how many times have you seen just any random natural, unnatural, man-made disaster blamed on climate change, just preloaded this totally arbitrary claim that they can make with no evidence whatsoever? And that they consider very, responsible politics and a very reasonable way to cover things. Meanwhile, they are outraged that Trump would, as they put it, let's find the actual Guardian article I was covering here, because obviously the way that they frame it is as unfriendly as possible. Trump baselessly claims diversity and Democrats for deadly DC plane crash, saying he used the plane crash to attack his political enemies.
That's called brainwashing right there. The Guardian doing what the Guardian does, brainwashing people.
Claiming Democrats were responsible for declining standards in air traffic control and that the disaster could have been caused by diversity, equity, and inclusion policies at the Federal Aviation Administration. Again, the analogies I always think of always have to do with kids, just because most of my life outside of the show is dealing with the children. But I just always see parallels to this, where it's like, say you have a coffee table or a dining room table with a sharp corner. You keep seeing your kids and their cousins are like running by and they're almost hitting their heads. You keep being like, ew, we got to do something about that corner. That corner is going to hurt somebody. And then you like see it again. You're like, we really got to like not play in this room. We got to put a pad on here or something, because like it's something bad's going to happen. They keep almost hurting themselves. We should probably fix that. And then a kid slams their head into the table, cuts their blood down their face. They have to go get stitches. And you're like, I said we should do something about this. And your wife's like, so now you're attacking me? Now you're using this totally unexpected accident, this tragedy of our child being hurt, to attack me?
Lefty logic right there.
To wage a baseless attack against me and my parenting style? It's like, we keep warning. We keep saying this is a problem. We keep pointing out a danger. We keep sounding the alarm. Nobody listens. The tragedy happens. We go, we told you so. And that gets framed as Donald Trump uses this tragedy, but just, horror on top of horror. Not only is he not confronting the tragedy, he's using it so cynically to progress his own political ideology. We have warned you. We have told you this is not some crazy accident, totally disseparate, totally divorced from anything else going on. This is a direct consequence of Democratic policies. We have been warning about it for literally year upon year upon year. So they're getting very mad at this. They're getting very mad that we're pointing this out. Let's go to clip number 22. Here is, I think, Kurt Schlichter is his name. He actually got kicked off of BBC for talking about this insane policy where the FAA, a organization responsible for hiring people whose life, who hold your life in their hands, air traffic controllers, pilots, and this extends to everything culturally, civilizationally. We're talking about hiring doctors and police officers and judges, people who will make decisions that will result in whether you die or live. They're being chosen sometimes specifically because they have mental illnesses. That was one thing Trump brought up yesterday, that the FAA is like, we can't discriminate against people with severe crippling mental incapacities, major mental disabilities. We have to hire them specifically. It's crazy, but this is just where we are. Let's go to clip number 22. This is Kurt Schlichter. This is Kurt on a BBC TV show. Let's watch.
When you choose people because you're checking blocks, whether color or sex or, for God's sake, severe psychological disability, you're going to get losers.
Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States, within 24 hours, when you have 67 families grieving, is it really appropriate to indulge in this unevidenced speculation?
Yep, it is appropriate.
Unevidenced speculation. Let me just read a couple things for you here. FAA data shows 30 near misses at Reagan Airport within the last very little while. When pilots report near mid-air collisions around Reagan National Airport, there are often a military aircraft involved. An NPR analysis of FAA data shows a mid-air crash like Wednesday's deadly collision near Washington, D.C. is extremely rare. To help keep it that way, the FAA encourages pilots and flight crews to report incidents where such tragedies almost happen, what's known as a near mid-air collision, or NMAC. The agency's database of these reports contains 30 records of NMAC reports at Reagan National since 1987. Of those, at least 10 involved military aircraft, and at least 7 included military helicopters, including one that happened the day before. Apparently, the day before this crash happened, another near miss,
And
almost
the week before, and the week before that
occurred with another military helicopter almost hitting a passenger jet. And it wasn't, passenger jet forced to abort landing at DCA, it's Reagan International, due to helicopter crossing flight path one day before chopper plane collision. Okay. Ashley St. Clair, last year I reported on a tip from a United pilot that a near-fatal incident in Houston was the result of a fired employee being rehired through their DEI program. I was told I was a lying racist. So again, what this guy is asking, what this BBC reporter is asking is it really appropriate for the president of the United States to talk about the cause of an accident so close after the accident happened? I mean, isn't that kind of disrespectful to the family of these people to identify and move to correct the major error that resulted in the accident? How could this be disrespectful? This is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. The obvious thing to do is to say, here's what we think happened. Here's what we think caused the crash. Here's the steps we're taking to fix that problem so that more crashes don't happen in the future. What else are you going to do? I mean, what greater way to honor the memory of the people who died than do whatever possible to make sure nobody else ends up in their position?
Exactly.
But these people are crazy. So let's go
Not
back
to cover up incompetence and bullshit. You expose, you bring the truth.
To the BBC, where again, they're trying to claim that actually identifying the source of the problem that caused the crash is somehow politicizing it or disrespectful to the people involved. Let's watch.
And surely what he should be doing is encouraging the flight investigators to get to the truth.
Well, first of all, the idea that the flight investigators need to be encouraged to go get the truth. Look, I've investigated many things in the military, many things as a lawyer. I didn't need the permission of somebody to go find the truth. And I certainly dragged information out of people reluctant to share it. As for the timing, well, I'd like to see the memo about when the timing's right. All I know is every time some psychotic leftist murderer goes on a shooting spree, within 40 seconds, I get told I need to disarm myself because me being able to defend myself from criminals and tyrants, along with tens of millions of other Americans, is the cause of yet another crime. So I'm going to need to know what the rule is.
All right.
In the meantime,
All right.
I'm
Chris,
going to go with this
Chris,
one.
Can you get this numbskull off our program, please? I'd never want to speak to him again. He is the kind of person that makes America look ridiculous on the.
No, this motherfucker is the kind of person that makes the EU look ridiculous as it gets exposed for not exposing and covering up a human slave and human trafficking and a rape scandal, a rape culture where little girls are gang raped and then parents are put in jail for retweeting about it. This is why EU is despicable. This is why BBC, you got to go. These news stations are evil. These news stations peddling bullshit nonstop. You're evil to the core. It's not going to work anymore, boys and girls, to say this is why America is despicable to the rest of the world. Fuck off. That's what we're going to say. This is EU who's blocking elections, EU who is just Nazi, communist motherfuckers everywhere. Yep. It's not going to work anymore. Sorry. Get out of here.
The world stage.
Hey, at least we're going to be around in 50 years. Hey, at least America is going to still be here in 50 years. How's the UK looking on that trajectory? How are the people of the British Isles doing? And are you going to?
UK is gone. They're gone. It's done. We're done. I mean, they are donezo. All of it. It's donezo.
Even be around by the time your grandchildren are adults. So why don't you stuff it, Brit? But also, he's exactly right, obviously, and they just don't like the hypocrisy being pointed out. It's climate change when it's wildfires, it's gun control when it's gun violence, it's racist cops when a black criminal attacks a cop and gets fired upon. They immediately and ubiquitously point out completely incorrect causes and then take major actions on that basis. We are pointing out not just things that we're applying after the fact, but things that we've warned about for years leading up to this, and are now simply saying, we told you so. Would you listen to us, please? We could save lives here.
Yep. And it's amazing. We actually have a president that's actually doing something about it. Okay. So, Coach Colin in the house, JD Vance in the house. Yeah. The horrific act of child mutilation is quickly coming to an end in America thanks to President Trump. Hey, how about that? Common sense that this shit, this evil is here because of this woke, evil mob. It's tyranny. It starts from the universities and is peddled in the media. Let's wake up, people. Love you guys. More to come. Endless amounts of more of psychotic insanity is coming our way. Be ready. I'm going to be exposing all the evil garbage that goes on in our world today. Hopefully our eyes get opened to see what all this really is and what's going on. Trust no one. Verify everything. Peace out.